All right. Shalom, shalom. Israel, Shabbat shalom. Uh, Welcome back to the Hebrew Chosen Elect Sabbath class. Hope everybody's week has been going well. And, you know, everybody is increasing in the spirit and walking in the Most High ways. This week, with it being Juneteenth coming up, the 19th, and today a lot of places doing their Juneteenth celebrations. Like we just came from one at the riverfront. Today's class, we're going to go into a Juneteenth edition of class and go into the history that they want to keep hidden. They don't want you to know. So we're going to go into a little bit of history of after slavery, so-called slavery, after the so-called freeing from captivity, right? Which is the celebration of Juneteenth. What it's about. And go into some scriptures too, but probably the majority of this class will be reading a historical reference, historical account. Yeah, what we'll do is go ahead and get started and go into what is Juneteenth, right? So Juneteenth is now a federal holiday. Whoop, whoop. Blow the horn, right? We finally got one. Oh, this is two. We got MLK Day, right? What's it mean? Does it mean a day off? For a lot of us, no, but it's a federal holiday. I'm gonna have to look on my job app and see if we get paid a holiday, because ain't that what a federal holiday is supposed to be? A paid holiday, ain't it? So I gotta check and see. But that it just got instituted as a federal holiday within the last few years, right? What it is Juneteenth is U.S. federal holiday celebrated on June 19th that commemorates the emancipation of enslaved African Americans, so-called, which we know is the true children of Israel, right? So, emancipation meaning the freeing of the slaves from captivity, from slavery, from bondage. It marks the anniversary of the day in 1865 when Union troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, to ensure the last enslaved people in the county were free. Country, it's like it, were free. So that's what Juneteenth is. And that's what we're going to go into is basically we're going to show how on paper they might have freed us, but we were never freed after that. They just they put it on paper. They ended a war. They changed a regime basically and said you're free, but then they immediately went to making laws that put you back in captivity. And the conditions of when you were free, nothing was given to you. There wasn't no government assistance, wasn't no jobs to pay for a place to live. They didn't give you nothing. They just really stopped feeding you and told you, yeah, you're free to go. We're not going to feed you. You don't got to come to work, but you got to live and you got to survive. And not going to give you jobs to get food. So now we're going to leave you in a condition where you got to break laws. And we're going to make laws that when you break these laws for survival, you're a slave again. So we're going to go into that. And if we have time, even bring it up to date. We're going to go into some more stuff, just showing how, things are better, but you're still in captivity to the same nation, same people, same government, and still just going through it. But we're going to go directly into right after this so-called time of the last slaves being freed in the country. So with that being said, we'll get to it. Uh, pull my document up while I get it though. The first thing we're going to go into with the document is up to date today. What was it? The UN or NATO? I guess that's the same thing, I think. But either way, they tried to make it establish it that what happened to us, blacks, Hispanics, Native American, Indians here in America through colonialization, murder, rape, slavery was the worst atrocity ever to happen to a people on the earth, right? And just about all the nations voted yay and voted for reparations, but not everybody. Some nations voted that no, this is not the worst atrocity that ever happened to a people, and no, they do not deserve reparations.
Which nations was that?
And that's the first thing we're going to go into. So the nations that voted against it, the United States, Israel, and Argentina were the only countries to vote against a UN resolution that formally recognized the transatlantic slave trade as the gravest crime against humanity. The resolution passed despite their opposition. So yeah, it passed on the world stage, but what does that do for us here? Our country said, no, nigga, Negroes, niggas.
It's also important to note the countries that didn't vote at all were basically all European.
Yep, and I'm about to pull that up too.
Okay.
I'm about to pull that up next. But this guy here, yeah, the UN said by majority vote, well, we're going to deem it thus. Well, we still underneath this devil and his people. And what you think he's going to do? Start handing out $200,000 stimulus checks to every so-called black, Hispanic, Native American? I think not. Never in a million. Yeah, so like you said, and while I pull up the nations, somebody grab Amos 1:11, but don't bring it out yet. So this is a list of the nations that voted on the screen. It's a list of the nations that voted. And with the green box is those that said yes.
It's the worst.
Right. The X is the box they didn't even vote. And the red negative is they said no. So we just brought them out. So didn't even vote. Let's see. Albania, Caucasian European country. Andorra, I'm not sure, but I'm sure they are as well. Armenia, they definitely are. Australia, Austria, Belgium.
No,
You know they, yeah.
What they did to Congo, they
Right.
definitely not going to
Right. Yeah, right. Bosnia, Bulgaria, Cambodia. I think that might be a Hamite nation or Elam. I'm not sure, but yeah, Ammon and Moab. Okay, they Asian. Cameroon. No, not Cameroon. Canada. So a lot of people they like. I'm gonna leave America, go to Canada. Things are better. Yeah, well, not so much better. They still said we're not going to vote that the worst thing happened to any people happened to you, which means no. If I won't say yeah, it means no. It's not the worst. Croatia, Cyprus, Czechia, that's definitely Edomite land. Denmark, Estonia, Fiji, Finland, France. So far as Ammonite, Moabites, or Edomites. Where am I at? I said Georgia, Germany, Greece. No surprise. Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Latvia, whatever, Steam, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, Monaco, Montenegro, Netherlands, New Zealand, all majority Edomite, with the exception of some Ammonite, Moabite countries. Yeah, it just continues. Norway, New Zealand, Romania, San Marino, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Ukraine, United Kingdom. So they all said we're not even going to vote because I'd say face, I guess, but that's a no. Yeah, like I'm trying to save face by not being on that list and saying no, but it is a no. Because and the truth is so obvious that it is the worst to have many people. If you don't say yes, you're saying no. This isn't one of them things where it's like maybe these people's, maybe that. Like, come on, stop. Or maybe there's history we don't know about yet that we might dig up in the future. Yeah, stop. Everybody knows this is the worst thing. And if you don't believe it, just pick up some books other than your U.S. history book in school. Pick up some stuff you didn't get in school. Go watch Uncle Tom's Cabin on YouTube. You can find it. But yeah, read the Bible. But they're going to believe that's talking about not us. So, they're going to say that's not y'all. That's that's them people with curly sideburns.
They didn't exist.
Well, you gotta convince them. But all these people basically let it be known, no, we still hate your guts because we're not going to pay any money. You could still say, yeah, it's the worst, but we're not going to pay any money. I mean, America does give us history. Like, yeah, we did some terrible things to you, but we're not going to give you money. But they won't even acknowledge it. They won't even acknowledge it being what it is because they're the ones that did it. And the wicked will never take accountability. Accountability and the wicked don't go together. So they're the wicked of the earth. Malachi chapter 1 lets you know that. But who got that Amos 1:11? So all these countries said no. He got it too. Let him try to bring it out. You got to come closer, though, if you're going to read it. So bring out that Amos 1:11.
Amos chapter 1, verse 11. The Lord says, the people of Edom.
Oh, you're in the wrong one. Let him bring it out. You got to get a King James Bible for class. Go ahead, Yai. Come get this one.
Amos chapter 1, verse 11. Thus saith Yahweh.
Go ahead.
For 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof.
Everybody's always asking about what about Esau, salvation for nations, and they always point out Esau. Esau, the punishment will not be turned away thereof. What punishment? Book of Obadiah, right? That's the punishment written for Esau. It won't be turned away. Because the 3, no, yet 4 transgressions. Keep going.
Because he did pursue his brother with the sword.
He pursued his brother with the sword, death, murder, right? But
and did cast off all pity.
They've never showed pity. Look at this list. This is a glaring example of lack of pity, sympathy. Go ahead.
And his anger did tear perpetually. And he kept his wrath forever.
It's because they have been angry and hateful towards us from the birth of our forefathers, Jacob and Esau. That's why I said he pursued his brother and his anger tore perpetually, forever. He started that anger when he sold his birthright, and Jacob, our forefather, claimed it. And that angered him because Jacob got the blessing that Esau was planning on claiming, even though knowing I sold this thing, I'm going to claim it, right? But while he was gone hunting, Jacob got it. He's been angry ever since then. He's had his wrath ever since then. And he's been pursuing Jacob with the sword since then, because that's how Jacob ended up with his uncle's family and got his 4 wives, fleeing from Esau, wanting to kill him back then. And that's what you see today, is the perpetual anger, lack of pity, and wrath and hatred they've had from the beginning of those 2 ancestors and beginning of each nation, right?
That's forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got some people. Well, there's some good white folks
here. Yeah, and there's good white folks here. Well, Daniel was good. Yeah, Daniel was good. Ezekiel was good. Black folks, Israelite folks. Jeremiah, Zerubbabel. You just go down the list, but still had to what? Suffer the punishments that the nation suffers. So, and it happened. Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, and black people live happily ever after. The end. Right? Not so. That's not what happened after the freeing of quote unquote African Americans. That's what we're going to go into on this lead up to Juneteenth, and day that most cities are celebrating their Juneteenth celebrations, which, like I said before, we just came from. So we'll mainly be in this book. It's called Worse Than Slavery. All right. So there's a book called Worse Than Slavery, goes in detail of the Parchment Farm in Mississippi and the ordeal of Jim Crow justice, because while it's mainly dealing with the Parchment Farm in Mississippi, this was a system that all the slave states had coming out of slavery. Mississippi just happens to be a real special demon, even today. Yeah. So this guy,
in 1990 something.
What, Mississippi? Officially,
they
right?
Finally eradicated it, or it's recent, basically.
Yeah.
We was alive.
Yeah, like the federal
Yes,
government,
man.
the United States did, but them coming along with their state legislation took till 1990s or so, right? Mississippi. It's a hateful place today, along with Louisiana. They just the cream of the crop, though. The Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, but then yes, the whole South. They a special type of Esau, though. They definitely special. But this book goes into this history, right? So if you don't have it, I'd say it's a good grab. Go get you a copy. But a lot of what it touches on, we're going to touch on today. It's written by David M. Oshinsky. So for you, sounds like an Edomite. So you Israelites, that you got to hear it from the white man's voice. Okay, this book is written by so-called white man David M. Oshinsky, and this book is a winner of the Robert F. Kennedy Award. So it brings out a lot of history and details of what happened after slavery that we're never taught in school, because this is not what they want to be, the common knowledge, right? Because then we got to take accountability for it. And it makes it even harder to go in front of the world and say, nah, slavery wasn't that bad. Okay, well, what about what happened after slavery? Because slavery was horrible, but you got that out where, well, we freed slavery. That's old. Okay, well, what happened after the freeing of slavery? Right.
I got a quick example that show you that this is really worse than slavery.
Mm-hmm.
What just happened to the brother, the young guy who's got?
I forgot to mention that. Exactly, Carmelo Anthony.
Yes.
And this book, yeah, like that shows that the same things that was going down, and I think we'll even touch on it. Some of what was happening then is what's murder, what's of worth spending your life in prison for us now, obviously isn't for them, because if the same thing, if it had been flipped and Carmelo Anthony was the victim and the Edomite, he was the one saying self-defense, he'd be free. The same thing was happening coming out of slavery. The white men would kill blacks, and if they did get convicted, they might get like a year, and they
Probation.
probably probation, right? But if a black person killed a white man, oh man, if you don't get hanged, you ain't coming out of jail. And if you killed a black man, you go into jail for years. But if it's flipped, it's not the same penalty. So that's was literally part of this system that was bringing black people back into slavery after being so-called free. So to start it off, we're going to go in this book, page 20, and just start at the top. Start at the top. I ain't got nothing highlighted on this page, so start at the top, and we're just going to go straight through. It's a lot of reading out of this book. This would definitely be probably a part 2, maybe 3. This would be a little series. I'll probably call it, hit this, same as this class, history they don't want you to know, part 1. So when you're ready, you can go ahead and read.
In the fall of 1865, Governor Benjamin G. Humphreys addressed the Negro problem.
And that's in quotes. The this Negro problem is we got all these Negroes that they not our slaves no more, and we want them back. Go ahead.
Before a special session of the Mississippi legislature, a planter by profession and a general during the war, Humphreys had campaigned for office in a thrice perforated army coat shot through with Yankee lead.
Lead. Go ahead.
Like other leading Confederates, he had at first been excluded from participating in the South's post-war political affairs.
So that's because the Confederates, they was the conquered. So at first they wasn't able to get into the political field because now who's in control is the unions, the Union Army, right? The Union government. But because they're all Edomites, and because black people are still hated, even though we don't got slavery up here in the North, eventually they got back into the government offices, having political power, right? Like I said, he's a governor at this time, and he was a former planner, meaning he was a slave master and general in the war. So he made up the general. He was really fighting for to keep the blacks in slavery, to keep that going. Go ahead.
But President Andrew Johnson had pardoned the general and hundreds like him in remarkably short order.
Yeah, right.
Humphreys received his pardon on October 5th, 1865, just 3 days after winning the governor's race in a landslide.
And why was it a landslide? Because it's still the same people that matter, that count in this state. Like, they lost a war, but the citizens, it's still the same citizens that love slavery, hate blacks, hate Native Americans, and they hated the fact they had to give it up. So he won the landslide. He was a champion for them. Go ahead.
His speech about the Negro was a major event, the first of its kind by a Southern governor since the Confederate defeat. Under the pressure of federal bayonets, Humphreys began. The people of Mississippi have abolished the institution of slavery. That decision was final. There could be no turning back. The Negro is free, whether we like it or not. We must realize that fact now and forever.
So they're coming to to the realization that, okay, it is what it is. We can't change that, right? This law is in place. This is the direction that we're going. Let's see if they said, let's get these people jobs and ways to eat and provide shelter. Let's see if that's the resolution. Go ahead.
Quick question: what state? Do anybody know what state that was? That couple got caught enslaving them black kids. What state is that? I got a feeling it was Mississippi.
Skips my mind. Recently,
Somebody
right?
find it. Yeah,
Yeah.
They enslaved them children that they adopted.
You know,
Foster
we're gonna
care.
have to look it up,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm gonna add it to this
Second part.
class in one of the parts. Yeah, because yeah, I mean it's so much,
Yeah.
and I wanted to go into this immediate history. So
Con,
at
get
the
to that.
at the end of the document, I'll start adding like more up to date stuff.
Con.
Go ahead.
But freedom had its limits. Humphreys continued. It protected the Negro's person and property, but did not guarantee him political or social equality with whites.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, the purity and progress of both races required a strict caste system.
Ooh, caste system. That sound familiar? That's some of us are on the top, and then we need people on the bottom. Go ahead.
With blacks accepting their place in the lower order of things.
Mm-hmm.
And that place literally was the cotton field of the South.
So this is their thoughts. Like, we still got these fields, and yeah, okay, we got this. We're American. We're a state in this country, and the country decided we got to get rid of this system. But however, we still got these cotton fields, right? And we need to have a caste system. And they don't have political powers. We still got all the cards, so we just need to play them. One hand, yeah, we got laws set in place. We can't have this, but look, we got the power to do something about it. Keep reading.
Since economic recovery depended on a ready supply of Negro labor, the new system, like the old one, must reward the faithful field hand and punish the loafer.
So they need a system to reward a faithful field hand, punish the loafer. So already, we just got to bring them back into captivity and call it something else, right? We're going to punish the loafer, punish you're not making enough, bringing enough cotton in. We crack the whip. If you're faithful, you get some food. That's the reward. Your regular food and water when we feel like it. Keep going.
Such was the rule of the plantation, said Humphreys, and the law of God.
Mm-hmm.
In the following days, the legislature passed a series of acts known collectively as the Black Code.
So this is what they did after slavery. They needed a way to bring black people back into the fields, picking this cotton, growing this food, doing our work, the what needs to be done for the economy to recover. So they set up black codes, laws that were to bring you back into slavery when you violate. Go ahead.
Their aim was to control the labor supply, to protect the freedman from his own vices, and to ensure the superior position of whites in Southern life.
Mm-hmm. And that protect free man from me, that's just cap.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say it's from his own vices, because we're gonna put you in a condition where all you have is your vices, and then we gotta protect you from them. Your protection is y'all just need to be back on the plantation. That was the mind state. Similar to today. Y'all got these vices. Y'all need to get in these prisons and get in these sweatshops, get your commissary money. And if you don't want to end up in this prison, you need to go get to work. Go ahead.
While some of these acts may seem rigid and stringent to sickly modern humanitarians, the legislators declared The wicked and improvident, the vagabond and meddler must be smarted and reformed.
Mm-hmm.
Others agreed. The Mississippi Black Codes were copied, sometimes word for word, by legislators in South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Louisiana, and Texas.
Uh-huh.
The Black Codes listed specific crimes for the free Negro alone.
Watch this. So here's some of the black codes that will get you back in slavery, right? Go ahead. Yeah, no, go ahead. Mischief. First off, what's mischief?
Right.
That's that's just one word that's gonna cover. It covers a lot. Whatever we feel is mischief. If you drop, I don't know, if you walking home and you got a couple of dogs loose walking next to you, that nigga over there, he's being mischievous. He's probably got them dogs, so he's probably looking to go find a white man or some white kids to have his dogs eat them. He's just walking with dogs. That would be mischief. Mischief can be anything that they want it to be. So that was one of the black codes. Mischief. Go ahead.
Insulting gestures,
which could be anything. Emmett Till was what happened to him happened because of what? So-called whistled at a woman. And she lied. It didn't even happen. So insulting gestures can be anything that they just, why are you waving at a white man? You insulted me. Or you didn't do nothing. I'm just making it up. Because it's insulting gestures. How can I prove that or disprove that I made a gesture or not? But these were part of the codes. Go ahead.
Cruel treatment to animals.
Cruel treatment. Your dog is looking kind of skinny. It should be fatter. Whatever. You ain't bathing your pigs. They make up anything. What's cruel treatment to animals? Right? Go ahead.
And the vending of spirituous or intoxicating liquor.
Y'all can't be making money off you. What says the vending? That's selling.
Or spirit.
But I think they did also even drinking. That would probably go into mischief or what's it called? Vagabond, whatever. But you couldn't sell alcohol. Keep going.
Free blacks were also prohibited from keeping firearms and from cohabiting with whites.
So you couldn't cohabit with whites, keep firearms. But you're free. And this is a country, you're now part of the Constitution. You have the rights of the Constitution. You're supposed to if you're free. But the Constitution says that anybody that's of this country can possess firearms. Part of the black codes were no, black people can't keep firearms. Go ahead.
The penalty for intermarriage, the ultimate taboo, was confinement in the state penitentiary for life.
So if you was caught participating in intermarriage, marrying white people, right? White man, this only went for black people. So if you married a white man, maybe the woman would go to prison. If a black man married a white woman, he was definitely going. And penalties for life. So keep going, next paragraph.
At the heart of these codes were the vagrancy and enticement laws.
So you have vagrancy and enticement laws. Watch.
Designed to drive ex-slaves back to their home plantations.
So the idea was these codes put in place to get the blacks back in slavery. And then also the other ones where, simple things like you can't own firearms. First off, how are you free? So we doing this class because it's Juneteenth. How is black people made free if you don't have the constitutional rights of a free man? The white people could marry who they want, could own guns. So black people was free from slavery, but no, you can't. That's not freedom. And then, like it's going into now, most of the black codes, they're set to drive slaves, ex-slaves, back to their home plantations. So they didn't just want you back in slavery. They wanted you to get back in your home plantation. They wanted the free slaves back in them very same plantations. They wanted to find a way for them very same plantation owners and masters to get their slaves back. So they made laws for this. Go ahead.
The Vagrancy Act provided that all free Negroes and mulattoes over the age of 18 must have written proof of a job at the beginning of every year.
So you had to have, what's this sound like? This sounds like probation. You get put on probation and they say, I need proof of a job. You did an actual crime, did time or went straight to having probation, but you got on probation and then they told you had to provide this proof of a job, right? No, they quote unquote freed slaves and then made laws where y'all, if you're over 18, you have to get written proof you have a job by the end of the year. But every year, and but we're not hired. I need proof of a job, but we're not hired. That's Esau. This is freedom. This is what came from 1865. This is what trickled down from June 19th. Go ahead.
Those found with no lawful employment shall be deemed vagrants and on conviction.
So that you would be deemed, if you can't get a job and we're not hiring, you would be deemed a vagrant and convicted. Oh, and on conviction, this would happen. Go ahead.
Find a sum not exceeding $50.
Let's look up what in 18. What's the value of $50 today?
I would say probably like $300.
Let's look it up.
$300 to $500.
$300 to $500. All right, let's see. $50 in 1865 would be okay. Where today?
What?
1,000. So if you couldn't provide proof of a job, these Edomites would fine you $1,000.
That's great.
$1,000. Think about that. This is what we're celebrating. I mean, this is the holiday they gave us, and you know it's becoming like our 4th of July. But this is what we got after freedom. So you couldn't find a job, but if you can't find one, there were no jobs hiring, and when you can't find a job and provide proof of that, now we're going to fine you $1,000. This quadruple jeopardy, like, because you can't pay the fine, you can't get a job, and we're not hiring.
You're not hiring.
They basically saying
fine and not have a job, but we're not going to give you a job.
We're not going to give you a job.
What?
It was a trick bag all the way. That's what the whole purpose was. That's why he said, like, it is what it is. The slaves are free. That's what we read before. But we can find a way to get them back in. So you would be a vagrant, and on your conviction, find $1,000. Keep going.
The Enticement Act made it illegal to lure a worker away from his employer by offering him inducements of any kind.
So if you was able to find a job, you was able to find a nice Edomite that would put you to work, right? You would not have the ability to look for a better job, make use of your skills. You become known as like this, the best. Hey, Yaquab's the best at bringing in the weight at this plantation. He far exceeds every other slave, well, not slaves no more, worker on that farm. And you over here and you like, man, I could really use Yaquab. What you getting paid over there, Yaquab? I'm getting paid $50 a month. Oh, well, I'll double that. That is another law that's put in place where That's the Enticement Act. It's illegal for, okay, you being one of the nice Edomites, and you're trying to bring in the best workers, right? Kind of like the NFL today. You're trying to get some of the workers off free agency. No, you couldn't do that. So they made it a law where you couldn't induce the employees to come work for you, meaning the slave, if he does employ blacks, he can pay pennies. He can pay pennies. He can still make his quota at the end of the year, right? By barely paying the blacks. And hey, you got to do something because we're not hiring. We're not giving y'all any type of benefits. We're not even giving y'all food just to eat. You can either leave, walk 1,000 miles to the north, or figure it out here. And this is the system we're putting in place. And so there's no way to find better jobs with the ones that will hire. That's what's also a law. Everything is to keep black people on the bottom in a slave position after June 19th. Pick back up.
Its purpose, of course, was to restrict the flow and price of labor by forcing plantation owners to stop stealing each other's Negroes.
Mm-hmm.
Given the huge number of cases, the vagrant could not expect a normal trial. Town officials were put in charge of these proceedings, with the sheriff usually meting out justice by himself. If the vagrant did not have $50 to pay his fine, a safe bet,
because he ain't got a job. Go ahead.
He could be hired out to any white man willing to pay it for him.
So to pay what? The fine. So yeah, I'm gonna give you this fine. You can't pay it. We don't got jobs. We're not hiring. Once you can't pay it, we've established that. Now we're going to auction you off again, basically, to somebody that'll let you work off that fine. And $1,000 fine, you probably would take years to pay off because they can set whatever price they want. Oh, we're going to give you 5 cents a month. Keep going.
Naturally, a preference will be given to the vagrant's old master.
And see that? Preference. They wanted you back in slavery. If possible, they really wanted you back in that same old master's plantation. They was trying to give their citizens back everything they lost. Go ahead.
Who was allowed to deduct and retain the amount so paid from the wages of such freedom.
And it could be a penny a month. It could be whatever. Like $50 fine. Yeah, I'm gonna give you $10 a year. So you would have to slave for that same master again for 5 years, hypothetically speaking. But this is freedom. This is freedom. Next paragraph.
These codes were vigorously enforced. Hundreds of blacks were arrested and auctioned off to local planters.
Mm-hmm.
Others were made to scrub horses, sweep sidewalks, and haul away trash. When news of
That's if you didn't go to a plantation, you still was made a what? A servant. So that's probably like if you got on the low end. He just got a $5 fine. We'll have him scrub some horses in the stalls, sweep sidewalks, haul away trash. Go ahead.
When news of this crackdown reached the North, a storm of protest arose that there had been little change in the South, despite the sacrifice of 300,000 Yankee lives.
Mm-hmm. One thing, let's look for and see if it happens. Let's see if with all those protests, because like you said, but there's good white people, and in this time, there was the whole North. It was like, yeah, slavery's bad, that's wrong, and now they hearing about this, and yeah, let's protest. Let's see if we read anything about them sending trains and buses to bring all these people up. And I'm not just talking about a couple instances where, like, if you was lucky to fit on the train, I'm talking about we're constantly coming until all y'all black people they trying to keep in slavery make it up. We're going to keep sending trains, free ride and everything. Let's see if that happens. Go ahead.
We tell the white men in Mississippi, warn the Chicago Tribune that the men of the North will convert their state into a frog pond before they will allow such laws to disgrace 1 foot of soil in which the bones of our soldiers sleep and over which the flag of freedom waves.
And when you finish that paragraph, let's jump to page 32 because I don't. You done with that paragraph?
Yeah.
Then okay. Next, we're going to jump to page 32. And let me see where I want you to start. You can start at Southern whites. It's the there's some highlighted.
Southern whites had long viewed criminal behavior as natural to the Negro.
So, I mean, that's kind of similar to how you can bring that up to modern times, right? Case in point, Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden getting together in the 90s and calling young black men super predators, right? So that was the view on black people. But black people, I mean, had only been servants. How bad could they be? They're slaves. But that's just the way it's that Amos 1:11. That's how one of the ways you can mark them as Esau, that hatred that's just perpetual and the wrath and lack of pity. So Southern whites long viewed criminal behavior as natural. Go ahead.
They took his stealing for granted as a biological flaw.
They labeled it stealing as a biological flaw. It wasn't you're hungry.
You were made like that.
Yeah, you were made like that. Go ahead.
And honest darky, most believe, was as rare as a Negro version of 15.
So that's another thing. So they just always look down on us like we're nothing. And that's why you say an honest darky was as rare as a Negro virgin of 15. So what they saying? Y'all whores too. Y'all can't get past 15. Go ahead.
You can't find a white streak in them. If you turn them wrong, side, outwards, and back again.
And what that means, it's not talking about appearance. Good. Because they viewed, if you're white, you're good. White is pure. White people are pure. They say you can't find that in the Negro. Go ahead.
One planter observed, all the men are thieves, and all the women are prostitutes. It's their nature to be that way, and there'll never be no other way.
Go ahead.
With freedom, black crime moved well beyond the plantation.
Mm-hmm.
Stealing,
and it's in quotes. It's in quotes because why? They weren't really crimes. They set up laws that made anything crime. So with freedom, black crime in quotes, meaning basically BS, fake crime. It's not really crimes. Move well beyond the plantation. Go ahead.
Stealing was the most. Hold on. Is that where I'm at? Stealing was the most common offense.
Yep.
From Florida to Virginia, from the Carolinas to Texas, came reports of ex-slaves looting pigs, turkeys, chickens, melons, and roasting ears from white families who seemed perilously close to poverty themselves. The Negroes are so destitute they will keep stealing, wrote a Mississippi woman in 1866. They think the last one of them that they have a right to what belongs to their former owners. So
they think every one of them thinks they have a right to what belongs to their former owners. And the question I would ask, is it wrong for them to feel that way? I mean, you got us in captivity, slavery, and you free us, and you put all these stumbling blocks, not even stumbling blocks, all these 200-foot, 50 feet thick walls in front of us, right? So is it wrong for them to feel like what y'all have belongs to us? We still got to eat. Like, you won't even give us jobs. You're finding us for not having jobs, but you won't give us jobs. Everything you got, it is your duty to feed in actuality. So is it wrong for the Negro to feel this way? Let's go to the Bible. When leaving first slavery in Egypt, God instructed this. Exodus chapter 3, verse 14 to 17. Somebody read that. Yeah.
And Yahweh said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am, have sent me unto you.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahweh said moreover unto Moses, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, the Most High Yahweh of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, have sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. Go and gather the elders of Israel together and say unto them, the Most High Yahweh of your fathers, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob, appeared unto me, saying, I have surely visited you and seen that which is done to you in Egypt. And I have said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt unto the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, unto a land flowing with milk and honey.
Verse 21, 22.
And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. And it shall come to pass that when ye go, ye shall not go empty.
So when God said, I'm a free Israel the first time, he said, when you go, you will not go empty. Go ahead.
But every woman shall borrow of her neighbor, and of her that sojourneth in her house, jewels of silver, and jewels of gold, and raiment. And ye shall put them upon your sons and upon your daughters, and ye shall spoil the Egyptians.
So according to the Bible, no, it's not wrong. It's not wrong. Even coming out of Egypt, he said you're going to spoil the Egyptians. Because of everything they did to you, they owe you that. That's why. They owe you that. Deuteronomy 15, 7 to 14. And here's another thing that they owe. You cannot just have a people serve for you for hundreds of years, right? They have nothing. You took them from their home and then just put them off your land, send them out into the world, and you won't let them work for you, right? So they just destined to just be poor and beggarly, right? Well, now that you got all these people that's poor and beggarly because they don't have a choice. Now, actually, you by the laws of God, you actually now have a responsibility. And this is it right here, Deuteronomy 15, 7, 14.
If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Most High Yahweh giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother, but thou shalt open thine hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need.
So this is the laws of God. You have to feed your brother that's poor and don't have. Go ahead.
In that which he wanteth.
Go ahead.
Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the seventh year, the year of the release, is at hand, and thine eye be evil against thy poor brother, and thou givest him naught, and cry unto Yahweh against thee, and it be sin unto thee. Thou shalt surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because that for this thing the Most High thy God shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thine hand unto.
Go ahead.
For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thine hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor, and to thy needy, in thy land. And if thy brother, an Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee.
13 and 14.
And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty.
So like when you had your brother, I know that this is dealing with Hebrews, but just look what it says. When you have your brother that was sold to you and served you whatever, and you let him go, watch what happens. Go ahead.
This also ties in with Deuteronomy 28:68. Thou shalt not be redeemed.
Yeah,
this
definitely.
Is the redeeming.
Definitely.
This is the redeeming that people keep misinterpreting, saying you won't be sold or bought. No,
it's bought out.
Yeah, it's not bought by slave owners.
Yeah,
it's bought by your brethren.
Yep.
To be redeemed out of captivity.
Yes, yes, sir.
14.
But yeah, you read 13. So it said, when you send him out, he shall not go away empty. Go ahead.
13 again?
No, 14.
14. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock, and out of thy floor, and out of thy wine presses, of that wherein the Most High Yahweh he blessed thee, thou shalt give unto them.
So why I go to laws concerning how we deal with each other? Because just to show this is the righteous way. And not only that, this country says of itself, we're a country under God. We're such a Christian country. We're the best country. We treat our people the best. Okay, well, if you have a servant and you set him free, you should be furnishing him because he don't have nothing with all these things, but not, and especially not doing the opposite of, all right, I'm going to set you free. And now that I'm setting you free, I ain't going to give you nothing. I'm going to and make laws that when you ain't got nothing, you've tried to survive, you're going to jail. Well, no, to a plantation again. Or I'm going to make laws where you have to provide me proof of a job that I ain't going to give you. And when you ain't got that, I'm going to fine you money you can't pay because you ain't got a job, just so I can get you back. That's not how you treat your citizens. That's not how you treat your brothers and sisters. And this country puts that doctrine out there of Christians is the new Israel. Or if you're a Christian, your brothers, no matter what race you are, where you're from, you're a Christian, we're brothers, well, then we should be treating each other as so. That's what should have happened after June 19th, right? After the quote-unquote last enslaved people in the country were set free. But no, the opposite was set up. Let me see if I got another one. Proverbs 6, verse 30 to 31.
Men, do not despise a thief if he steal to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. Because
they set up all these laws, they talking about how we're just naturally thieves, and they was stealing the pigs, and they was stealing animals and food to survive. It said, men do not despise a thief if he steal to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. But Esau has the same Bible and said, nah, that ain't talking about us. We hate these people that keep stealing our flock out our flocks and our food. And they supposed to be serving us, and now they free. We hate these people. That's what happened. Verse 31.
But if he be found, he shall restore sevenfold. He shall give all the substance of his house.
And that would be the punishment. The punishment would be that he would restore sevenfold. But he would actually, it wouldn't be, you got to restore sevenfold. But guess what? We got everybody in this land is in cahoots. We ain't giving none of y'all jobs. Nah, this person was able to go and work. That's the difference. But you're not supposed to despise a thief that's just stealing to eat. Right? And who can guess why not? Why shouldn't you despise a thief that's just stealing to get food because he's hungry?
Because you stole from him first.
Well, I'm looking for a different answer. Because I'm going to answer it. Anybody.
So because the Most High said there will always be poor in the land.
Yeah,
that's one.
That's one.
So
what I'm looking for is you could be that poor.
There you go.
I can't despise you when you just still to eat. When I never know, I could be in that condition. So that's not what we got after June 19th. That's not what we received as a people, and that's part of freedom. Uh, the Bible tells you that freedom is being free from the world and able to take part in this word. That's one of the definitions of freedom, right? Liberty. But that we didn't receive none of that coming out of so-called slave being so-called free. Exodus 22, 1-4, and 7-9.
And it reads, if a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox, and 4 sheep for a sheep. If a thief be found breaking up and be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him. For he should make full restitution if he have nothing. Then he shall be sold for his theft.
So this is just going into laws for different types of thieves, right? Because the laws, the punishments they have are wicked as hell. If you got caught, we had laws you had to basically repay. And even the thief being found, no blood would be shed for him. When you came out of slavery, sometimes if you got caught stealing, you get hung if you didn't go to jail. Then like it would be either you get put to death or you're going to plantation, right? Go ahead.
If the theft be certainly found in his hand alive, whether it be ox or ass or sheep, he shall restore double. If a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff to keep, and it be stolen out of the man's house, if the thief be found, let him pay double. For all manner of trespass, whether it be for ox, for ass, for sheep, for raiment, or for any manner of lost thing, which another challengeth to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges. And whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double unto his neighbor.
And see, it's not prison. It's not servitude. And this is talking about people that wasn't even in captivity to each other. Right? This is people that really shouldn't have no excuse of, oh, well, I was your slave, now I don't have nothing. Even them, when they get caught stealing, they don't have to go to serve at a plantation for 5 years or get fined $1,000 with no jobs hiring in the land. That was the laws of God. The punishment for stealing wasn't what we received coming out of slavery, right? Give me Romans 2, verse 3-6.
And it reads, and thinkest thou this, O man, that judgest them which do such things, and doest the same, that thou shalt escape the judgment of Yahweh? Or despisest thou the riches of his goodness and forbearance and long suffering, not knowing that the goodness of Yahweh leadeth thee to repentance? But after thy hardness and impenitent heart treasurest up unto thyself wrath against the day of wrath and revelation of the righteous judgment of Yahweh, who will render to every man according to his deeds.
So, well, we went there because this so-called quote-unquote Christian nation was founded on stolen land. Slavery was established on this stolen land using labor of stolen persons. Imagine such hypocrisy to condemn the Negroes that were brought here against their will, labored as slaves, then released with nothing, not offered jobs with fair pay, etc., of stealing to survive in this world of exclusion and hell. Imagine condemning that. But that's what we see was being done. Condemning it and using that to bring the people back into servitude. The Bible says that's going to be paid for. That judgment still has to be paid. He's going to render to every man according to his deeds. But that's where all these people are going. That's where that's why Isaiah says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. That's just Bible. Like we can't stop that nor help that. That's what happened, and that's what's to come, right? But it just goes to show, like we as a people got to start really, and we always talk about it with us. Got to start like investigating what we believe in and take part in, because the majority of our people that's out at these celebrations in Philly, Wilmington, wherever, a lot of them really think they're celebrating. Hey, we free now. Back in slavery, we could never come to the riverfront and our kids jump in the bouncy house and all. Well, back then, guess what? White people wasn't doing it either because the bouncy house didn't exist. But just that's not freedom. You gotta actually look past what they give you. Like you gotta use common sense, which isn't really common, and see that all the history that I'm receiving is coming from the people that had my people in the slavery and in all these bad things happening throughout time. Maybe I need to do a little investigating of my own, right? But a lot of times it's just because we've been destroyed, lack of knowledge. What Hosea says, my people destroyed for lack of knowledge, and you can see it.
So, if you bring that scripture out to the normal Negro, he still don't understand that.
Nah, it takes a lot to. First off, it takes a lot to bring understanding, especially the Bible, to our people. Like you got to really go into a lot of things and go step by step. A lot of times, and some are receiving, and obviously we know a lot are not at all. But that's why I like books like this. Go go read a book. They got this saying that you want to hide something from a Negro, put it in a book. Man, if we would just become more in tune with reading and learning and passing that down to our kids instead of rap and TV and sports entertainment. Once we learn these histories that's not given to us in school, we might be more receiving of the true history that's in the Bible.
So what you say? Yeah, I was gonna say we lost that. We lost that ability to study, and we lost that ability to want to read. When we lost our schools, when they put us, separate us and put us together as one, because we were surpassing them in every level of education, and they took that from us, and we've been downhill ever since.
Downhill, and we view that as part of the freedom. That's the crazy part. Hey, we free. We had that happen, but like you said, that actually made it more where okay, now we got to be indoctrinated by your history.
Yeah.
Right.
My question is, would you say that they're both ignorant of a person like this? Do you count them the same? Somebody who does 4th of July or Juneteenth? Like, is they still an ignorant nigga to you?
Nah, I don't personally look at none of them.
They got something.
I feel like all the people that I'm talking about, they just don't know. Most of them.
Okay.
I don't know if you're rejecting the truth unless I actually talk to you. So I don't never just assume. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then even if you did, even if you
now and they abandoned 4th of July.
Yeah, like even if you know the history and you still celebrate it, I don't look at nobody wicked for celebrating it because it's not tied to any paganism. And all right, Purim. Purim is a celebration where we celebrate not being put to death and getting a little bit of cushion in captivity. Purim ain't about being freed from captivity, right? But we still celebrate today. Like the Emancipation Proclamation, what's it called? Emancipation Act, whatever. Proclamation is not a bad thing. Like it's not like it definitely made things easier. I mean, I'm never going to deny that. Like it's like the Lord gave our people cushion. He like lightened the load. He like lightened the punishment. The only problem is we think we're free. So like I don't got a problem with people that some people do. I wouldn't say I do, but I just when we look out into the world and how our people celebrate it, we actually think that we were free.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
But you don't say, yeah, okay.
I don't think anybody's wicked for celebrating it unless they get the knowledge and then they be like, yeah, the hell what y'all talking about. You're wrong. Then I'm like, okay, that's a whole nother thing. You're rejecting the word of God. You're rejecting history. You just want to celebrate what was given to you. That's something different. But just the idea of celebrating Juneteenth, I wouldn't say somebody's wicked for that. I mean, we kind of celebrate it by going there, don't we? In a form. Like I'm just saying in a
What
form.
about people who did
Like,
it before they made it a holiday? Because you know there was people doing it before.
I don't know because I don't even know about that. But like I said, I feel like it's what you're celebrating that makes it wicked or not. Like if you celebrate the fact that your ancestors had the chastening enlightened a little bit, I mean, what's wrong with that? Like literally, that's what Purim is it not? I mean, we celebrate. Purim was established because we were in captivity. Uh, the Edomites set out to destroy us and kill us. The Lord saved us, and then let us turn. Then let us go and destroy our enemies. But we were still in captivity after all that. So I mean, I say celebrate God's. You already know we celebrate God's feast days, but the main thing is our people need to understand that we're not free yet. That's the main thing. Yeah, we're still in captivity. Um, but shoot, like if you don't have the knowledge we have, and you stop celebrating Fourth of July to celebrate Juneteenth, I look at you like, okay, you might have a good mind on you because you already made one step. You might be on your way to coming into the truth. I don't know. Uh, but yeah, so let's go back to the book, right? Worse than slavery. Um, I think it's the same page, but it says across the South. Go ahead.
That little piece, that's it.
Yeah.
Across the South, white reaction was intense. There were calls to bring back the gallows for serious property crimes.
What's the gallows?
Use of
Yeah.
hanging.
For property crimes, not crimes against people, property crimes. Go ahead.
And the whipping post for misdemeanors, such as vagrancy and petty theft.
So they wanted slavery. They wanted slave laws to make. Hey, you underneath the Mason Dixon, you're a slave still. You're still in slavery. I don't care what our country says. Well, it's illegal to have you in as a slave without committing a crime. So now everything you do is a crime. So how's that? How you like that? That's how they want it. Go ahead.
Vigilantes punished hundreds of thieving niggers on their own. Some were flogged, others were lynched. In Mississippi, farmers were urged to gun down loitering freedmen and let the buzzards hold an inquest over their remains.
They just didn't want. So this is after slavery. Yeah, they just didn't want your existence, other than get in the field. That's it. Go ahead.
In Georgia, an editor suggested military force. If the white people of the South find that the Negro continues to steal all they raise, they may possibly conclude to raise troops and see whether the Negroes will steal them.
Evil people. Just evil. Page 35. Read from In Mississippi at the top. Yeah, page 35. It says, House the flood of criminals now pouring through the courts.
Oh, in Mississippi, the second sentence.
Yeah.
In Mississippi, a state with more blacks and less revenue per capita than any other, these problems were particularly severe. The penitentiary at Jackson had been torched in 1863. The local jails were crumbling from neglect. Emancipation will require a system of prisons. A state official observed at war's end.
See that? What we talking about? Emancipation. Juneteenth. They said verbatim. Emancipation will require a system of prisons. That's trickled down to today. The country as a whole system of prisons is filled with black people.
And these are supposed to be all Christians, right?
Mm-hmm. Supposed to be, especially 1800s. This is like we're a Christian nation.
Yeah.
What's the pledge allegiance to the flag or whatever? Under God, that part.
But today's Christians, black Christians, don't read this information. Because if they did, they wouldn't stay a Christian.
No, they don't. They don't read it. Like I said, that's the problem with our people in general. We don't listen. If it's not on this, he has to roll. Can you pick up the reading in the book?
This one?
The book he has right there. Like if it's not on, if you can't scroll through it on your phone, if it ain't got pictures, if it ain't got videos, if it ain't got some type of entertainment, we don't want no parts of it. But the only way to find the truth, which matter of fact, let me get that. The only way to find the truth, the only way to get real freedom, somebody read John 8:32. It's important to even have classes like this. They go over, the history and go over the of our people and the history of what we take part in. It's because, this is the only way to get real freedom. You can't have freedom without it, whether you got chains or not. You have to have this. Somebody read 8:32.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
Yeah, so and ye shall know the truth, and truth shall make you free. That's our people lack the knowledge of the truth. We don't know the truth of the Bible. We don't know the truth of the holidays we celebrate. We don't know the truth of our freedom. What we think is free isn't free because we're still under the same establishment, the same nation, the same people, and still on the bottom and still being systematically oppressed, right? So we have to learn the truth of all these things. And that's what we're going into with this class. So these people made the statement, emancipation will require a system of prisons, right? We got to have jails. We going to have free niggas. We need some jails for these niggas. And, before you keep reading I want another verse in the Bible, right? Because it's true today. It's thousands and thousands of prisons here in America today, and we fill them up. But that was prophecy that this would be happening to us. Isaiah chapter 42, verse 22. Because they said emancipation, freeing these Negroes, will require prisons. It will require more jails. Somebody, Isaiah 42 and 22.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes.
Mm-hmm. And real quick, snared in holes. What's one of the names that we call our neighborhood? The trap. Snared in a hole means you're caught in a trap, right? So our neighborhoods are called the trap. Go ahead.
and they are hid in
and
houses.
prison houses, and we make up the majority of the population of every prison here in America. Right? Go ahead.
They are for a prey, and none delivereth.
A prey and none delivereth. You know what a prey is? A mouse is a prey to a cat. A gazelle is a prey to a lion. So when they had emancipation, they freed our ancestors. They set up laws like fining you $1,000 for not having a job, but not hiring none of you to work jobs we have, and then but you got to pay this fine for not having a job. That way we can bring you back into slavery. That's for a prey. The Edomites, they're the lion. We was the prey. We were trying to hide and maneuver like a gazelle out in the jungles, looking, hoping ain't no white people around gonna ask me for proof of a job, right? That's a prey. So he said, for a prey and none delivereth. Go ahead.
And none delivereth for a spoil, and none saith restore.
And none saith restore. Because what were they saying? None saying restore. Nah. They saying let's bring them back. They saying emancipation will require a system of prisons. You see that? Who else could this Bible be talking about? Let's go back to the book. So pick up where it says emancipation will require a system of prisons.
Now on page 35.
Yes.
Okay, that's up top there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, emancipation. Talking about what? Emancipation will require a system of prisons.
Right there. Go ahead.
Okay. A state of official. Is that official?
Officials
observed at war's end.
Uh-huh.
The one in Jackson was nearly full when the courts had little to do with the Negroes. How would it be now?
Mm-hmm. So they're complaining about, like, at this time it wasn't a large prison system, right? That's why they made prison for us. Before slavery, and it wasn't a lot of prisons out here, right? So he's complaining that the ones we do have are nearly full without the Negroes being in them. How will it be now? So we're going to need more prisons. Keep reading. Next paragraph.
The answer was provided by a businessman named Edmund Richardson, born in North Carolina in 1818. Richardson had her laid inheritance of 22,800 and a few slaves unto an empire of cotton plantations and general stores throughout Mississippi. When the Civil War began, his assets totaled 1 million. When he ended, almost everything was gone. Somehow he had saved 500 bales of cotton.
So he was a millionaire, right? And if $50 is 1,000, $1 million, then he was like a Bill Gates. But anyway, so he lost it all when the Union came in and they ended slavery. Go ahead.
Cotton. He wrote.
You were at somehow he had saved 500 bales.
Yeah, of cotton. Wrote a
sympathetic
biography. In the year he was out of debt and soon had capital in his business. It was quite a comeback.
Uh-huh.
Richardson moved quickly in 1868. He struck a bargain with the federal authorities in Mississippi Richardson needed cheap labor to work some land he had bought in the sparsely settled Yazoo Delta. The state had a gutted penitentiary overflowing with ex-slaves, and the result was a contract that allowed Richardson to work these felons outside the prison walls. He promised to feed
So, like we read before, they didn't have enough prisons at the time. We was overflowing the prisons, right? And he's setting up a contract with the federal authorities. Even though like the federal government should be protecting these slaves because the federal government is above the whole country. But nah, because it's still Mississippi. These federal authorities in Mississippi still care about Mississippi and the white people of Mississippi. So he's setting these deals in place so that he can take all these Negroes that's overflowing the prison system and bring them into the plantations. Go ahead. He promised to feed them,
clothe them, guard them, and treat them well.
Right. He promised the same thing they had in slavery. Right. And guess what? A plantation owner master with 50 slaves, all of them back whipped the shit. They would still call them well treated before slavery ended. So he's talking the same thing all over again. I'm going to treat them well. I'm going to feed them. I'm going to clothe them. Try and bring them back to slavery. Go ahead.
The state agreed to pay him $18,000 a year for their maintenance and an additional sum for their transportation to and from his primitive Delta camp.
So he not only is getting his slaves back, the state's going to pay him. So now he's increasing in riches. And this sounds very similar to corporate prisons today. Right? They got, you got state prisons, federal prisons, all these different prisons. Some of these prisons aren't owned by the state or the government. They're owned by corporations who make money off of housing these inmates and putting them to work. Right? So there is a mirror to the system that was put in place to bring us back into slavery. Go ahead.
Richardson got to keep all the profits he derived from the labor of these convicts. Richardson contract began the era of convict leasing in Mississippi.
So his contract, this is what started the era of convict leasing in Mississippi. So that's what it was called. Once you had the emancipation, their way to bring back slavery, convict leasing. That's what it was called. You understand? Convict leasing. So Juneteenth was the ending of slavery and the beginning of convict leasing. Just another name for slavery. Right? Go ahead. Keep reading.
At the time, it seemed...
Well, hold on real quick. I got a little... Let me double check. What page you on? 35?
Yeah.
All right, you can drop it. So, but go to 38. Convict leasing was a post-Civil War system in American South in which state governments leased prisoners to private companies for forced labor. See that? This system was widely regarded as a continuation of slavery, disproportionately targeting African Americans. Only targeting African Americans. They need to fix that. And subjecting them to brutal and often deadly conditions. What we're going to find in reading this book is, like the book is titled, Worse Than Slavery. It got worse. With the Emancipation Proclamation, slavery didn't get put away, it got worse. Okay, it got worse. Uh, Page 38. You can start from the top.
In Mississippi, angry planters threatened to drive nigger Republicans from the fields. Merchants
And at that time, because black people were so stuck on voting Democrat, the Democrats were the ones that were against freedom. It was the Republican Party that was trying to free the slaves. But really, it was only the ones that really wanted that freedom was the black Republicans. So they angry planters would try to drive away the black Republicans from the fields. Go ahead.
merchants give them credit, and newspapers published blacklists of their names. But
Hold up. I actually got to take it off the screen. Sorry. Battery, or it'll cut off. But page 38. Merchants denied them credit.
And the newspapers published blacklists of their names. But violence.
So one way, like they were combating anything that goes against. They took the battlefield from the actual war field and brought it into the government, into policy. They were going to do anything to keep black people in slavery. So, you got these free Negroes. They got into the politics in the government. We're going to drive them out. And the merchants denied them credit. What do you need to thrive and have your own businesses and not be on the bottom no more? You need some credit. So they said the merchants started denying. That's when they started saying, yeah, we're not going to give credit to you because you're black. Right? Same thing that happens today. Who gets a business loan with no problem opening in a black neighborhood? Your Asians, your Chinese, your whites. Who has to go through all these obstacles and a lot of times still can't get it? The black people that live in them neighborhoods. So this is one way, like we're going to start denying them credit. They want to come over here trying to shake up what we got going on. We keeping slavery in effect. They still trying to come down here, and now they don't won the war. They coming down here trying to get into political battle. All right, we're going to cut y'all's credit off. Go ahead.
But violence was the key to this campaign. It erupted first in Vicksburg. The rough and tumble Mississippi River port, when a white mob forced the resignation of Sheriff Peter Crosby, a black Republican accused of widespread corruption. I couldn't even.
So we had a black sheriff at the time, right? But they say, oh, no. We can't have that. Listen, y'all is free on paper, and y'all can go up there, right? Go with them Yankees. But this is the Confederacy. And we're going to keep this thing going. That's what they did. So it was a black sheriff. They forced him out, right? With violence. Keep going.
A black Republican accused of widespread corruption. Crosby,
and he was probably corrupt because he was probably trying to make a way for black people to get jobs and eat, or switch from this plantation to that if it paid more. So he said, we got to get you up out of here. He called him corrupt. Keep going.
Crosby, a black Republican accused of,
he responded.
Crosby responded by forming a posse of local freedmen to help him take his office back. On December the 7th, 1874, 500 blacks armed with knives and pistols, were met by a well-drilled
meaning they've been, in the military. They put you through drills. They train you. Yeah, they've been well-trained white militia. Go ahead.
Near the outskirts of town. The battle quickly became a rout and then a massacre. The militia, using cavalry and long-range rifles, tore through Crosby's poorly trained men. When the fighting ended, white units went on a rampage. Their 100 blacks were murdered in a matter of days.
300. So 300 blacks were murdered. Go ahead.
In a matter of days, white deaths were listed at 2.
So white deaths at 2. From there, go to page 40.
Page 40?
Uh-huh. Started when Mississippi legislature.
Okay.
It's under the Roman numeral 4.
I didn't know if you want to start where you had it orange then.
Nah, I want to start, but
when Mississippi legislature convened in 1876, crime and punishment were among the primary concerns. The new Democratic majority was extremely sensitive to the issue of blacks, lawlessness, and to growing white demands for tougher penalties and controls. The Democrats were fascinated by the potential of convicts leasing. They knew that white taxpayers would never fund an expensive penitentiary. Whatever their worries about crime, they believed that convicts could provide a list, a potential solution to the needs of Mississippi labor
starved.
You said starved?
Starved. Labor starved.
Okay, labor starved employees.
Slave starved plantation owners. That's what it's talking about. Go ahead.
And they assumed that the profits generated by leasing would quiet any moral rumbles about the treatment of black criminals who were, after all, the dregs of an inferior race.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Early in 1876, the legislature passed a major crime bill aimed directly at the Negro.
Mm-hmm. Let's see that. Go ahead.
Known as the Pig Law.
So they made up a law called the Pig Law. Go ahead.
And redefined grand
larceny
offenses punishable by up to 5 years in the state prison, to include the thief of a farm animal,
mm-hmm.
or any property value to $10 or more.
You see that? So they another one of these laws, they made it a law where basically you steal an animal for food because you're starving, you have nothing, you can't get a job. It's grand larceny. It's punishable by 5 years in state prison. 5 years in state prison for stealing a pig. A pig. That's like the cheapest meat in the grocery store, but you get 5 years for stealing a filthy pig, right? Let alone we read the judgments for stealing that God gave. That ain't good enough. 5 years. But this is all to make new slaves again. So that's the whole purpose. Keep reading.
Arrests shot up dramatically. The number of state convicts quadrupled from 272 from 272 in 1874 to 1,072 by 1877.
That's a major increase. Go to page 41. It went from 200 something to 1,000 or something. because they was just locking up black people left and right. We gonna bring y'all back. Don't worry. Lincoln freed you, but don't worry. We got you. Y'all hungry? Don't worry. We got you. You got fines you got to pay? Don't worry. We got you. Negroes appeared. Go ahead.
Negroes appeared in smaller and smaller numbers on a jury panel, although the complete elimination did not occur until after 1890. Blacks were rarely represented by counsel, and their testimony was often restricted to cases in which whites were not directly involved. You can believe a thing a Negro says. One judge remarked it, they will tell you just what they think you want to hear. The pig law did not stand alone. It was followed a few weeks later by an act to provide for leasing the convict labor of the state. All prisoners, it declared, may work outside the penitentiary in building railroads, levees, or in any private labor or employment.
Yeah, so now it opened it up for more than just the cotton plantations, right? You got building railroads, that's going digging tunnels, breaking rocks. You just bringing the tracks, laying the tracks, all that for free. You're a slave out there swinging a pick like on the cover of the book, like in the movie Life. Them cats was doing. That's slavery all over again. But what Life don't bring, the movie Life don't bring out is that these cats, like you just see prisoners in the movie Life. And they getting put to work, and it's a comedy movie, but it doesn't bring to life the fact that these convicts were there for things like stealing a pig, stealing some fruit, stealing some food. Because the movie gives you these cats were charged with murder. Nah, it was little things. It was not having a job. You end up there. How I end up on a plantation or swinging a pick, building a railroad because I couldn't find a job. That's what Juneteenth is a celebration of. Slave freedom. Freedom from slavery. Huh?
It was worse than that. It was eating us too.
Huh?
It was eating slaves too.
Yeah, that too. But it definitely got worse. This book goes into how it got real bad. Sex trafficking, it got real bad. This so far we just getting the intro still. Like these different laws. So the pig law, the convict leasing went into effect. So now you could work outside the penitentiary doing not just cotton fields, railroads, levees, any private labor or unemployment. If you owed some money, you could go back to working for your last plantation owner. This is what Juneteenth, y'all. This came after Juneteenth. Keep reading in the book. With the gates now.
Okay, with the gates now officially open, Mississippi released more than 1,000 of its convicts in one fell swoop.
That means 1,000 slaves was made in one fell swoop, brought back to slavery. Go ahead.
They included the likes of Ross
Eccles.
Okay. Color of Lauderdale County, who was handed a 3-year sentence for stealing an old suit of clothes.
What? Old clothes? You got clothing drop-off bins all over the place. People just getting rid of clothes. And they was getting rid of clothes back then too. You just couldn't have it. So 3 years for stealing an old suit of clothes. Go drop over. Anyway, jump to Page 44.
They were setting traps.
Setting traps. That's why, like the precept we just read, it said, "They're for a prey, and none delivereth." That's exactly what it was. Just setting traps, preying on the weak, creating the weak, and then preying on that weak. Read the highlighted part.
From a business standpoint,
Uh-huh.
the subleasing was an ideal.
It was ideal from a business standpoint. Go ahead.
It plugged the major weakness of an old system, the high fixed cost of labor under the
So
sublease.
the fixed cost of labor. So it's going to fix this. Go ahead.
Under the sublease of an employer was not stuck with a set number of prisoners over a long period of time.
Uh-huh.
It did not have to feed, clothe, and guard them when they were a little work to be done.
So not only did it get worse for you coming out of slavery, it got better for the slave owners. Ain't that crazy?
They had witness down pat.
Yeah. Like it said, they got rid of the cost of labor, meaning the cost for them of having all these slaves. Now I got all these slaves, but I don't got to feed them. I don't got to clothe them. I don't got to guard them when there's no work to be done. Wicked as hell.
Check out Genesis 3:1.
Bring it out.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any of the beasts of the field which the Lord God had made.
Right. So, if that ain't the serpent, I don't know what is. Subtle. Serpent-like. Like, that's crazy. So we got to know these things. Emancipation got black people back in slavery while taking away the cost of the masters. Ain't that crazy? They don't teach us that in school. And that's part of the history that they want to deny when they say into history of mankind what we did to them. They don't want this coming out. That's why they don't teach it in school. That's why now they're trying to take away the whole idea of slavery out of the curriculum. They want to hide the fact that you're a slave so that 100 years from now, you're still on the bottom, but you really just think, bad luck, I guess. We can get there one day. We just got to come together as a people. It's us. It's us. We just don't know how to act. Nah. Keep going.
He could now lease convicts according to his specific or seasonal needs in terms of human misery. However, this system.
In terms of human misery, however, go ahead.
This system could hardly have been worse.
Go ahead.
The convicts now found himself laboring for the profits of these separate parties.
3 separate parties. So now, remember back in slavery, you was just laboring for your owner, right? Now you got to labor for 3 separate parties. And it's going to say them. Go ahead.
The sublessee, the
sublessee,
the sublessee and the lessee.
The sublessee and the lessee, or lessee.
Okay.
What something? But anyway, you had to labor for both of them, and
there was no,
and the state.
Yeah, and the state.
And the state. That's 3. Go ahead.
There was no one to protect him from the savage beating.
So you still got the savage beatings.
Endless work days.
You still got endless work days.
And murders and murderous neglect.
Still got neglected. Like, hey, we bring the spoon of water around. Like, we'll bring it about midday. That'll get it. Well, get a swallow before you hit the field. And we'll bring one around midday. Y'all be good till you go back to your shacks. We'll feed you. Yeah. We ain't got no food today, but y'all be all right. Still had that. Go ahead.
It, it is to be supposed that subleases took convicts from the purpose of making money out of them, wrote a prison doctor. So naturally, the less food and clothing used, the more labor derived from their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And
The less food and clothing used, the more labor derived from their bodies.
the more money in the pockets of his subleases. If a convict dies or escapes from an employer, lost nothing, Colonel Hamilton would properly supply a replacement at $9 per month.
So now you could work your slaves to death and you don't lose the slave. Like before, if you worked the slave to death, you lost a hand to bring in your money. Now, if you work a slave to death, you don't lose nothing. Colonel Hamilton, he'll just send a new one
For $9.
This is after Juneteenth, right? The so-called last slave people were freed in the whole country. Uh, let's finish this page. Keep going.
44.
Yeah, keep going.
Hamilton convicts workers work. Wait a minute. Hamilton convicts worked it at jobs that free labor did not like to do.
Mm-hmm.
In places where free labor sometimes feared to go, employees prefer them over Asians. Too fragile.
Too fragile. So the Asians, God made. We already know God made Israel the holy nation. Everything, intelligence, physical abilities. Yeah. So everybody else they don't cut it. Not for what they want. Remember, they want to reap everything they can from the earth, get every dime. So they need the strongest slaves. But it's also a hatred. But yeah, so the Asians were too fragile, right? This is why they need to bring us back in slavery. We don't want to hire y'all. Now that y'all are free, who we gonna hire to do this hard work? Asians? Nah, they too fragile. Irish? Go ahead.
Irish, too belligerent.
They too belligerent.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And local blacks too slow.
Uh-huh. And to hire the local blacks, are they too slow? Right? Go ahead.
They do 30% work more than free laborers, said one report, which praised their hard study pace. When the Greenville Railroad needed workers to lay track in the scorching heat of the Yazoo Delta, it subleased convicts. When the Mississippi Central needed men.
The funny thing about it is they didn't want to hire the local blacks because they're too slow. But the convicts they wanted to bring in, right, for free, weren't too slow. Just the hypocrisy that comes along with it too, right? Remember, it's who's more subtle? You brought that out. The serpent. Serpent, man, ain't nobody more subtle. I don't want to hire y'all. Y'all too slow. But if I get you in some prison stripes, come on, get on that line. Keep going. Yeah.
When the Mississippi Central needed men to dynamite a tunnel near
Kosciuszko,
it subleased convicts. When in the New Orleans and the Northeastern needed laborers to clear a
malarial swamp. So malaria. Remember, malaria is a disease, right?
Yeah.
What's that disease do? I just know it's deadly, right?
Yeah.
So somebody
like a fever.
So they needed to clear out swamps that were people were getting malaria from these swamps.
Yeah.
So they needed labor to clear a malarial swamp. Go ahead.
South of Hattiesburg, it subleased convicts at a premium daily rate of $1.75 ahead. According to witnesses, the men were chained for days in knee-deep pools of muck.
So this is after slavery. So some of us that was brought back into slavery through breaking black codes, right? Anyway, had to come to malarial swamps that are ridden with malaria, right? So they would bring us into that. And according to witnesses, the men were chained for days. In what?
Their thirst.
Hold up. In knee-deep pools of muck.
Muck, yes.
In a malarial swamp. Knee-deep pools of malarial muck. Go ahead.
Their thirst driving them into drink the water in which they were compelled to deposit their excrement.
So it wouldn't bring them water, right? Wouldn't bring you water to the point, drink the water you're standing in. It's malarial. And you've been excrementing into it. This is after freedom.
And even though you die, you're gonna be replaced.
And because when you die, we just gonna replace you. So next 47 is the next place we'll go. Next class we go in. So page 47 is where we're leaving off at. Close this out.
How come pastors don't read this in the church?
That's a good question because
they want
truth,
us to forget it.
Yeah, because truth shall set you free. We have to forget this knowledge because if we remember this, we might wake up to who we are. We might wake up to the fact that the world isn't what they make it. And we might just keep paying tithes.
Keep
being dumb, living in the world, celebrating everything the world has to offer, not looking into the origin of none of it, and just remain asleep and remain on the bottom, and they remain on the top, following traditions of men. They understand this. They understand that we gotta keep them on the bottom for us to stay on the top. So look, we'll give them stuff. We'll give them shows and sports and entertainment and money and Facebook and phones and gadgets and distractions. We'll give them that, and we'll keep them on the bottom. And we'll give them holidays. We gave them MLK. Now we'll give them Juneteenth. So everybody's celebrating Juneteenth. We gotta understand the true history of Juneteenth. And when you
got Malcolm X Day yet?
I guess that'll be next, right?
Yeah, they don't
once
give
they,
us
that. But it'll be next. Once they legalize cocaine, they'll give us a Malcolm X Day to go with MLK and Juneteenth. Who knows, right? No crumbs, right? Distractions. So, we got to understand our history. Everybody out there that's celebrating Juneteenth,
and really don't know what it's all
about. You have to learn what it's all about, and it's based off of a partial truth, but really, it's not a whole truth. Means it's a lie. It was a lightening of the burden of slavery, but slavery wasn't ended, and at first, it was replaced with something worse than slavery. That's why we're reading in the book of Worse Than Slavery. Hope the class was edifying. Shabbat Shalom once again to Israel. And I want to give all praise, glory, and honor Yahweh Bashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Until next week, Kwam Yashala and Shalom.